Good morning and welcome back once again to the third day of the mini MBA session in Microsoft Excel organized by Takshila Business School. My name is Dr. Kamal Kishore Sharma, and as usual, Dr. Sachin Sharma is sitting beside me, a computer professional for the last 20 years.
Good morning, all of you.
All right, so let's get to work straight away. And let me start today's session with a quiz itself. So if you had to write something in a cell, and you want two lines, for example, actors in Hindi movies, I will write here, okay? Actors in Hindi movies, okay? And I want to write Amitabh Bachchan, Akshay Kumar, Ajay Devgan. I want to write these three names, okay? And I want to write in the same cell.
But in the next line.
But in the next line,
yes.
Okay? So when I press enter, as usual, when we do a word exercise, you press enter. If I press enter here, it goes into the next cell. If I press enter here, it goes to even the other next cell. It does not remain in the same active cell. Remember that in Excel, when you press enter,
it changes the rows.
It changes the row column, it changes the active cell. It presumes that you are done with that active cell. You have finished your work with that active cell, and that is why you are pressing enter. But if I want to remain in the same cell and write it in the next line, what do I have to do? So I press Alt. There is on the keyboard, in the bottom, there are different keyboards with different functions, keys. On the left-hand side, you will find an ALT button. So in this case, my ALT button is just by the side of the space bar. This is the space bar. The long key is the space bar. And ALT button is there. I will press enter ALT. So I'll press ALT, keep it pressed and press enter. It goes into the next line. I can write Amitabh. I will press Alt, enter again. I will write Rishi Kapoor.
Name some new actors, sir.
Okay.
These are the actors of your era.
All right. So give me a name.
Tiger Shroff.
Tiger Shroff. Alt, enter. Once again, Alt, enter. So you see that you can go to the next line and keep writing here. I will reduce the size here and give me one more name, maybe Deepika Padukone. Okay. Alt, enter again. Alt. I am keeping the Alt pressed and then pressing enter. Alt, enter. Deepika. What is happening? All right. So you see that you can write in the next line Alt, enter Deepika, Alt, enter Ranbir, and so on. So this is how you can write in the same cell in the next line. I can easily, now all of these looks very jumbled up. I want to have them left justified. The names should start from left. So very easy. We have already learned that. I will highlight this cell. You have to go to the active cell. Remember, otherwise whatever you do will not happen. You have to go to active cell and then press left justified in the ribbon. There's a tab left justified here. Align text left. I will align text left. That's it for this quiz. All right, then let's go to an important, Excel. The foundation of Excel is behind being able to write formulas and being able to copy and paste those formulas across 10,000, 1 lakh, 50 lakh rows.
So whatever number of rows is supported that we have also seen. So
any number of rows and any number of columns, if you write a formula, you can copy that, and that's how you are able to handle large amount of data. All right. So copy and paste, very easy. Whatever you want to copy, first go there and select. Let's say I want to copy student names. I will select the range. How do I select the range? I will left click first, drag the mouse down, and then release the left click. So this is selected.
So this portion is selected now.
This range is selected. This portion is selected with student names. Okay. There are two ways. I can say Control plus C. This is copy. And there is one more way to do that from the worksheet itself. When I go to, wait a minute. So when I go to ribbon, the left group has got cut, copy. There are two functions. If I cut it from here, it will vanish from here. I will do both the functions. I will cut it. I have cut it. So a short form is also written over there. When you hover your mouse on cut, it shows Control and X. But we will stick to, when you are looking at Excel, first learn how to use the tabs. Okay. So we will use the cut tab from here. I have cut it. I will go to a new place. I've just come here. In another place, I've defined an active cell and I will write paste. In the same ribbon, there is a paste button. I will press paste. What has happened? The student names, all of the student names have come here, but they have vanished from here. The earlier place, wherever they are, because I have cut from here and cut and pasted somewhere else. But I don't want to cut it. That name should remain there also. And I want to create another table where I'm using the same student names.
So you should go for copy.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me do that. So I have done a wrong thing. So I will undo it. Top left, quick access button. There is an undo. Okay. We have already done it on day one. I will undo it. It has come back. Again, the same area range I will select. And now this time I will copy from the ribbon. Left hand of the ribbon, there is a copy button. I will copy it and then I will come to the new place on the right side and I'll again say paste. Okay, so the names are there also and again at the new place. So this is copy, cut, copy, paste. Okay, we have done away with this. So I will just undo it. Okay, and let me go to the next function. Now, there is a formula and there is a use of dollar. It's important. That's an extremely important function that you need to understand it very thoroughly. Let's write a formula which uses a cell address. What formula can I write here, Dr. Sachin?
We can use if to mark each of the individual student as pass or fail.
That is if condition.
That is
let me first probably use the same. Okay, so I have done yesterday we did this divide by 60. We did a divide by 60 because maximum marks was 60. So we did out of three in the three subjects we totaled the marks. And this marks was out of 60. Okay. So what we did was we did I6. This is the number, this cell address I6 divided by 60 maximum marks. Okay. And then we use the percentage button. Then. Okay. This percentage tab, we have used it and this formula has come. But now let us say if this was 70. If the maximum marks was 70, if I write 70 here, nothing has changed anywhere.
Yes.
Only this cell has changed. Whereas after putting it 70, the one person tabulated it wrongly. It wrote actually 70 and actually it was 60. So whatever number we want to write, so the correct number is 60, but wrongly written 70. Okay. So if it was written 70 here, even then nothing has mattered. If I now correct it to 60, even now nothing has happened.
Yes.
Whereas I want the percentages to change after I write the maximum marks, because
Yes.
maximum marks
Yes.
is common for all of them.
Yes.
So I can use one cell address for anything common,
Yes.
so that I don't have to repeat every time. Don't have to write. In all these formulas, I had to write 60, 60, 60. Whereas 60 was a single number, so I can define that single number, common number, in one cell and take that cell in the formula. This is how you should use
Yes.
Excel. You should not write numbers everywhere. Wherever possible, you should use common numbers, define it in a cell, and use that in a formula, so that whenever next time you change that number,
Yes.
all the calculations happen automatically. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so I will calculate this percentage again. Again, the formula, I will write it here first. Okay, so that we understand what is being written. Okay, so sum of, okay, you already have done the sum in this column, in column I.
Yes.
In the column I, you have already done the sum. So I don't need to do sum. So I will write is equal to, in the column which is sum, this is the total marks obtained. So I will go to this Aditi Pathak, whatever number she has obtained,
I6.
I6,
Is the
divided by, what is the maximum marks? This 60. Okay. By mistake, let me write it 70 first. Okay.
It's yes.
Okay, by mistake, let me write it 70 first. Okay. So this is the mistake. This is a mistake we are
Yes.
purposely creating here. So she has got 41%, but actually her percentage was 48. She came back and said, sir, your formula is wrong. You've calculated out of 70. It is 60.
60.
It is out of 60. So here I have calculated the percentage. I will use the percentage tab to convert this into percentage. Okay. Percentage tab converts this into percent. Her current percentage is 41. But if I now correct the mistake, 70 becomes 60, then the percentage also changes. It has become 40. So you have to, that is the importance of using a cell address, so that one mistake you can correct.
Yeah.
That one mistake and the entire sheet will be correct.
It is the recommended practice.
All right. Yes, that's very good of you, Dr. Sachin. It is a recommended practice. That is what you should do. So I will now write the formula in this cell. Again, the same formula is equal to marks obtained, that is I6, okay, divided by maximum marks 60. Okay. Again, that is defined in a cell.
Yeah.
I will enter. So again, the same 48% has come. I will convert this into percentage. I will go there and active cell I have clicked. I'm going to percentage tab in the ribbon. In the top ribbon, I have picked up the percentage tab, 48%. Okay. Now I want to copy this formula.
Now comes the
Okay, let's do that magic.
Yes.
I will copy this formula. So what do I do for copying? We have learned it yesterday.
drag it.
Go to the right hand bottom corner, look for the dark plus. And when the dark plus comes, you can either drag it or double click it. Okay, I will double click it. There are different results. Somebody has got 157%. Somebody has got an error percent. You can also see an error percent. There is something wrong with this.
There is something wrong with this.
All right. What was wrong? When I copied this, let me go to the, let's say, Avantika Ghoshal in row number 12. She has got 135%. Nobody can get more than 100%. She's got 135. When I see the formula, what is written in the formula? So you have to go and look at the formula bar. It says I12 by I10. So when I click 135 Avantika, I12 is her score and I10 is the score of Ajit.
Yes.
Why did this happen?
Because while dragging it,
Okay.
the count of the single cell that we had referred
right,
also increments.
also gets dragged.
Also
You
gets
did
dragged.
not fix that cell. When you want to use a cell which has got a permanent number, which is to be used everywhere, then you have to fix that cell in the formula. So what was wrong was I have used a cell here. When I use that in the formula, this is the same maximum marks for all of them. When I use that in this formula here, I used I4. I4 is the cell address for the maximum score. But I need to fix that. Every cell should use the same, every formula should use the same maximum marks.
Yes.
So
Every formula should use I4.
Every
Not
formula should use I4. So when you copy next cell, okay, it increments the column number, the row number by 1. So when I write, see, when this copy I6 by I4, when I dragged it, all the formulas remain the same. When I use this, let us say Debashish Sundarajan, when I see his formula, his maximum marks has come, I15, okay? So every time I copy this, next will become I16. Okay, let's go to the next. It has become I16. Then next cell, I17 Dharma. And then next cell, Dhritiman, I18. And so this is how formula copies. It increases one number, one cell, one row number at a time. When you take it column, when you copy it in the columns on the right side or left side, it does the same thing for the column. Yeah. It will increase one column in each cell. So this is how the copying works, okay? But in cases where I want one common information to be used in the formula for every person, every cell, then I have to fix that. That has also come up in the chat window. And how do I fix that? To fix it, I use dollar signs. Dollar signs, okay? So that is what Excel has come from US, and so they've started with a dollar sign. Don't ask me why should you use dollar sign? Why not use a rupee sign? So let's use a dollar sign. So I'll just go there in the formula. I'll write it here, so that it looks bigger, okay? Okay, is equal to the formula, okay? And I use dollar. From the keyboard, the digit 4 has a dollar sign. So I will press Shift 4. Shift 4, there is a dollar that has come. And this is a dollar for I, fixing the I column. Okay. Now I have to fix up the row also, because I have to fix up the row also. What has happened? I4. So I will use the dollar before I, dollar I, and before 4 also I have to use a dollar. So I am fixing the column also, and I am fixing the row also. Okay, wherever I copy this formula, this divided by will always remain the same. Yeah. Okay, so I will do this. I've done this, and I will just copy this formula and paste this in the cell here. Okay. I have pasted it here. Now we are using $I, $4, and now I will copy this. So how do I copy? Again, bottom right corner, look for the dark plus and then drag it. Okay. And now you will see the magic. Okay. All the scores have been corrected. Now by mistake, if this was 70, look at the scores now. When I change this to 70, all the scores have changed. When I change this to 100, all the scores have automatically calculated. When I change this to the correct one, that is 60, the correct percentages. This is the use of dollar sign. Dollar sign, you need to understand that to fix a cell, In an advanced Excel, we would have taken fixing only column, fixing only row, and filling a table with a formula that we will leave for advanced Excel.
Yeah.
But this is important for you to keep in mind that dollar is used to fix a cell. Now, quickly, we can go to if function. That's another very powerful function. Very powerful function. So what I will do is write an if function. I want to use, let us say, if somebody has scored 50%,
40%.
40%. Okay, all right, 40%. How many would be there in 40%? Can we see this? Less than 40%, very few. So let's put it 50%. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So we'll use a 50% criteria to say that student has passed or failed. Okay. I'll start writing that formula in this large green box is equal to if condition. Again, bracket. Every formula starts with equal to. Okay. Then you come to a function and then you start with the bracket.
Now it automatically gives what are the parameters.
Right. So it is telling me what to write now.
Yes.
It has understood, the Excel has understood that you are writing a formula. Now it is telling me what to write. Logical test. What is the logical test? Okay. So my test is your percentage should be more than 50% if you have to pass. Okay. So if it is less than 50%, it is fail. Okay. So I will write here what I want to calculate this percentage in the K6, that is Aditi Pathak's percentage. I will click there, I will pick up the cell, okay, and I will say greater than 50%. Then you have to use a comma. My condition is complete. I use a comma. Value if true. If this condition is true, if K6 is more than 50%, what do I write here?
Pass.
Pass. So I have written a pass fail in a cell over there. You look at M3 and M4, pass and fail. So if it is more than 50%, I will use pass. Again, I have defined a cell, comma, value if false. If this condition K6 greater than 50% is wrong, then it is fail. So I will use the next cell. I can also write fail, okay, within double quotes. Yes. Within double quotes, I can also write fail and bracket close. My formula is complete. I've used a pass or fail formula for this condition. Enter.
And the student is
failed because it was 48%.
Yeah.
All right, I'll copy this formula now. I'll copy this formula, Control C, or I can use copy from here also. And I will go there and paste this in that cell. In this cell.
Yes.
Okay. In this cell, in the column L. Okay. I use this in this column L and I have placed this. So it has become fail. I want it in the center. So I will go and use the ribbon format center. So it is coming in the center. Now I will copy and drag this. I have defined a formula. There is nothing which is fixed, but there is something which is fixed.
Yes, there is something which needs to be fixed.
Let us see that. Let us see that. So we'll create that mistake. So I will copy this. I have found this bottom right plus and double click. What is happening? Everybody is fail or zero. How did that happen? It is because there was one cell that I used as a fixed cell. That was pass. If you look at here, I used M3. If this condition is right, then use M3. So I have to fix M3.
But in the successive formulas, it will be replaced by M4, then M5, then M6. That has caused this.
All right, let us see one formula where there is a zero. So Dhritiman Dabe, when I see the formula, it is saying Kate 18 less greater than 50%. Yes, that's a correct condition. M15. So where I had put actually M3, now it has come to M15 because so many rows I have copied this. In the 15th row, it has become M15. In the next row, it will become M16.
Which is a null value. So,
Which is, there's nothing written over there. All right. So I will do that now. I will go in the first cell again, and with M3, I will say F2. Okay. I can now edit this here. In M3, I will put a dollar. $M and $3. Now, again, the result will be same for this cell. But now when I copy, double click here, you see
a fair result.
Fair result.
Pass, fail.
Pass or fail. So there is an if, very strong, powerful function. If, and if you define an if, you can then do anything with what is the result. All right. So this is important. We finished this section. Copy, paste, formula, use of dollar, fixing a cell, and use of if condition. Now this if condition, when we use it with sum, we'll see the power of that. No, there is a sum, there is an if condition. We can use both conditions together.
And there is a pre-specified function, SUMIF.
And there is a pre-specified function called SUMIF. Let me define an area. Okay, I will select this range. Okay, I will merge center. I will give a color. I will increase the font size so that it's very easily visible to all of you. And I will center justify it. Okay, now here is equal to.
What is this data, sir?
That's important.
Can we discuss this? What are the entries of this data?
Interesting data. This is coming from crickinfo.com.
Okay.
Okay. Highest T20 team totals. T20 matches are going on almost everywhere around the world for more than 10 years now. More than 10 years now.
More than 10 years.
Yes. And the highest scores. So when you see the first column is the team which is scoring it. The next column is what was the score. So surprisingly, the highest score in T20, the record is with Afghanistan. And Afghanistan is going through such a bad period today. We are so sorry about the people over there. Nevertheless, let's come back to Excel. Afghanistan 278 and Czech Republic 278 for 3 and for 4.
Data is sorted.
And this data is sorted on score.
On scores.
Sorted on scores means highest score is coming first, and then the next highest, then the next highest, then the next highest. So this is the highest T20 team totals. It also gives in how many overs, for how many wickets, what was the run rate, which innings was this, first innings or second innings, okay? Against which opposition? So Afghanistan scored 278 world record against Ireland. Czech Republic scored 278 against Turkey. The ground name is also there. The match date is also there. And then there are hyperlinks where you can go to even see the scorecard. So I've just picked up. It was an interesting data. So I thought, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's work on this. Okay. So we are trying to use SUMIF. Let's define a question. Give me a question. Give me a question.
For SUMIF, let's calculate the total count of scores.
Okay.
Of all those who have scores greater than 250.
250. All right, lovely. So all the sum of all the scores which is greater than 250. Okay. All right. So is equal to sum if that's the function, start the bracket, and then look at what is this rhyme? Asking range. So I will define the range where my condition is going to be put.
Yes.
My condition range. Okay. So this is my range. This entire row, the overall scores is my range. This is a total score more than 200 ka hi list hai ye khali.
Yes.
Okay, about 135 instances जब 200 से ज्यादा का स्कोर रहा. So this is what I have identified कि इस रेंज में मेरे को ये कंडीशन लगाने का है. Okay,
So
we have to put a condition in this range, then comma. What is the criteria? We said greater than 250. All
Yes.
right, greater than 250.
will it work, sir?
You have to check whether there's a double quote required or not required. There are different syntaxes. We will check it out. We'll commit our mistakes and then learn from it. Okay, greater than 250, and then next is sum range. So in which range you want to sum what? So there is a condition range. This is the score
Yes.
condition range. Then there is a sum range. You know, what do you want to sum? If this condition is true, what do you want to sum? You can sum the wickets, doesn't make any sense. You can sum the overs, doesn't make any sense. So let's sum up the scores only.
Yes.
So again, we will use the same range for condition also and the sum also, the same range. And then I close the bracket. Then I close the bracket. All right. And then press enter. What is it writing? Where is it gone? Okay. So it is asking me to define a condition, and the syntax of this condition is it should be in double quotes. All right. Press enter. 1,591.
That is the count of total scores.
So we can check, cross check here. More than 250 is right from Scotland, India, Sri Lanka, Australia, Czech, and Afghanistan. And this sum is 159.
And you can check the sum over bottom.
Yeah, if you actually have highlighted the range, and you can see a result in the bottom row, just above the files, there is a long empty row starting with ready in the left. And you can see that there is an average, there is a count, and there is a sum. All these results are also there. These are very dynamic functions of Excel. It shows, it keeps on showing. If you want to see quickly some results.
So Excel is automatically providing these results.
Right.
What is the
average,
what is the
count,
sum?
and sum. So this is sum if condition. So you can sum. So what is the syntax here? You have to start with sum if. You have to give the criteria range. And then you have to give the criteria, what do you want to check? And then you have to give a sum range. I can change the sum range. It doesn't make any sense, but if I change the sum range here from B3, B37 to C3, C37, I'll just see what happens. So what it will do is, it will just, where is the C column? C column is wickets. You see, it will just sum up the wickets.
Total count of wickets.
Total count of wickets for scores more than 250.
Yes.
Because my criteria range was score and my sum range is wickets. So I'll just press enter, and that is
24.
the number.
3 plus 4 plus 3 plus 6 plus,
And plus
5.
And
plus
plus
3.
Scotland plus 3. So that's 20.
That's 24.
Okay. Yeah, I can put multiple conditions.
Yeah.
I can use in the sum if, I can put another sum if S condition. If I want two conditions, give me two conditions here.
So sum of scores for all those countries for which scores is greater than 250 and wickets are greater than
5?
Yeah.
Greater than 4?
Greater than 4 will
Greater
work.
than 4 will work. Okay. So I will use the sum if S condition if there are multiple conditions to be used here. Sum if S. Now let's see what does it say. Okay, sorry. Let me start writing again because that will be more clear. So my formula is equal to sum if S. Now sum range. What do you want to sum? So I want to now in this case. Remember that. What do you want to sum is coming first.
Is coming first.
And the criteria conditions are coming later. Okay. So sum range. Now here I want to sum the scores only. Okay. So I will define the sum range. I will press left click, drag the button, and I am defining the sum range till the last Bangladesh. Okay. Then I have to write comma. Okay. So my sum range is identified already. Then what it says, criteria range 1. So my first criteria you said was scores more than 250,
Yeah.
right? So my range criteria again is the same range. Okay. And criteria range 1, comma, criteria. What is the criteria?
Inside-
Double quotes greater than 250. Okay. Comma again. Criteria range 2. What is the criteria range? Wickets. You said, okay, so this is the criteria range 2. The left click, drag the mouse and define your range. Release the left click. That is done, and write a comma. And then now I have to define criteria 2. What is my criteria 2? You said more than 4 wickets.
Yes.
Okay. Or maybe, it's, yeah, let's do that. More than 4 wickets. Any condition will work. Double quote, more than 4 wickets, double quote closed. Okay. And I have to close the bracket. Now I have to finish the function. If I press here, the Excel will throw an error. Let us do that mistake. Okay. I press enter. Okay. It has taken the automatically.
Smart enough.
Very smart. Very smart. So you see
Click
that.
on it. Let's see.
Yeah.
The bracket is automatically
Coming. So it is smart enough,
Yeah,
intelligent
yes.
enough to use that. You may miss the bracket. It may happen. Sometimes some Excel will throw an error and will suggest you have missed a bracket. Please put a bracket. So you can go and put a bracket. So now the greater than 4 is 5 and 6. That is Sri Lanka and India 260 scores.
220.
So 260.
520.
Is 520. So that's the power of SUMIF S. You can do the same thing for COUNTIF S also, COUNTIF also. So let's do a COUNTIF. Now very easy to do that. Count if bracket start. Okay. Why is it coming here? Okay. All right, it's all right. Okay. I'll just delete this and I'll start writing again. Now it is coming here. Count if bracket open, and let me see how many scores are more than 230.
Okay. So entire range.
Entire count if. So it is saying range. I will define this range. Again, left click, drag, go to the last, or maybe I'll write more than 200. And then now we should use equal to also. How to do that? All right. Range, comma, criteria.
Inside double quote.
Inside double quote. Greater than, equal to. So greater than also, equal to also. So it will include 200 also there. If I write greater than 200, 200 will not be selected.
We should write 250 because sorted data it is. So
that is fine. Absolutely. No problem. 250. It will be easier for us to identify that, right? Okay. Greater than equal to 250.
Or 252 because 252 entry will be there.
252. Okay. 252. Bracket, double quote close. Condition closed and press enter.
6. Let's see.
So 252, 260, 260, 263, 278, 270. So there are 6 counts of scores greater than, equal to 252. If I don't write equal to here, I just delete equal to from there, delete, and then press enter.
It is
only 5 results because it is not taking 252. It is only taking scores more than 250. That is the power of COUNTIF. That's
although this data
here.
is sorted, but the viewers will appreciate when this was not sorted as per the scores, then they will realize that how much is this.
Yeah, so if
what is the
because this data, I mean, that's an interesting point, Dr. Sachin, that when the entire score is jumbled up,
yes.
This Afghanistan comes somewhere in the row number 26, 278, then how do you find out those numbers? And if this score was for all the T20 matches that have happened, more than 2,000 matches might have happened so far.
So out of that much records, the Excel will automatically gives you
Right.
the
Your count will work, the sum will work, average will work. You know, all those kinds of functions become very powerful, especially when the data is jumbled up. You can now quickly onto average and median. So we are just picking up the same data that we worked on day one. Okay. Day one, and let me size the columns so that all of them are clearly visible and very well laid out. Okay. So I'm just sizing the columns. Okay. Now you have all the data properly sized. Okay. And properly represented. I want to find out the average of all these scores. All the final scores of the 20 students, I want to find an average. So that's very easy. Again, I will just define an area for working and merge, highlight, 36 and center justified is equal to average, bracket start. Again, average is a function, bracket start. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So let me pick up all the numbers and put that in a range. Okay. So this is the final, you know, the column I has got the final scores out of 60. So I'll just start here, the first cell, and drag it to the last cell. Okay. Vijay Sridharan, all the total marks, and bracket close, and it will give me an average. 35 was the average.
35.35 is the
average score. All right. 35.35 was the average score. Yes. And then you create a percentage around it. So that's all as possible. And you know, similarly, a median function is also there. A median function, MEDIAN, and you look at bracket start. Wait a minute. Is equal to median.
bracket starts. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Again, the same number set. I will pick up. I can pick up from any direction, and I'll see what is the median. 32.5. The average was 35. Median is 32. What is median? Median?
Yes.
Median is something, half of the entries falls below it.
Yes.
And half of the entries of the data set lies above it.
Half the students will have more than 32.5 marks, and half the students will have less than 32.5.
So that is important in some of the cases.
Yeah, like for example, CAT percentiles.
Yeah.
So if the percentile is, the median is 50 percentile. Median is 50 percentile. People score 99 percentiles, 100 percentiles. What does that mean is, when I say median 32.5, 50% of people are below 32.5. When I say CAT score 99 percentile, 99% of the students who took CAT exam are falling below that score. This is how, you know, what is the meaning of median percentiles around. Okay. A quick one on this, but let's have our guest for the day. It's time for a little break for us also. And our guest for the day today, can we have Professor Kishore Sharma with us, please?
Hi, good morning.
Very good morning. Let me have the pleasure to introduce Professor Kishore Sharma. He is more than 28 years, 29 years, I don't know what is the exact number, but for umpteen years, he has been with the government, with the corporates, and the last 20 plus years, he's founding and running educational institutions. He's the founder, mentor, trustee of Takshila Business School. Can we have your words of wisdom, Professor Kishore, shared with the students? Please.
Yes, Dr. Kamal, with me is Mr. Rajat Bohra. Rajat Bohra is the dean for Takshila Business School. First, he would like to talk to the students. We want to share some few words with them. Fine. So I'm just passing the laptop to Mr. Rajat Bohra.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good morning, Professor Rajat.
Good morning, sir.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Absolutely fine.
Right. So all the students and the participants who are here, we like to discuss with you on the importance what you are doing right now. Excel as a course, right, is a part of analytics course of Takshila Business School. Business analytics is what we are seeing most of the jobs which are coming to campus, and all the corporates are also looking for. For the students to make career in business analytics, we are in a situation where we have companies asking for students for business analytics as a course, and the demand is very high and the supply of students is at a lower side. So this is a course which every student should and have a focus on. You see the whole blockchain and the cryptocurrency in the market, how it has been going in last 11 years. In 2011, the Bitcoin was $1 and now it is at $48,829. In money terms, it is 48 rupees in 2011 to 36,28,144 rupees right now. And same is with the demand. The analytics part is the highest paying job right now. The students who do their MBA in analytics, it gets the highest salaries in the whole scenario. Big data, data analytics, AI, your machine language, the blockchain, all the other technologies which we are focusing and working on. The whole workshop which Dr. Kamal and Dr. Sachin is taking is focused on Excel, right, as a part of analytics, and it's only the starting point what they are talking to you about. And we have major courses on machine language and different Excel courses also. So Takshila has become like one of the pioneers in this field. We have our own analytical labs where we have like 300 computers working on blockchain and machine language and other workings. And Kishore sir will tell you about the placements and other details about this program and how it works out. And we'll also invite you to do a longer period program in Takshila focused on business analytics. If you see the whole course of Takshila, right, the PGDM plus business analytics is the major focus on. Our full focus is on analytics now. And Kishore sir, will you like to add on?
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Rajat sir. The program what we're offering at Takshila, that is PGDM plus business analytics with 2 more specializations. That means that business analytics is must for everyone because most of the futuristic jobs they'll be using analytics. Apart from this, the students they can choose out of 10 combinations, 2 more combinations. Maybe international business, maybe consultancy, maybe HR, maybe finance, maybe marketing, maybe international business, maybe supply chain, like this, right? Now, a little bit about the placements. This year, although the economies across the world has gone down, right? Still, we could place our students in good companies. The main recruiters this year were HUL, S&P Global, right? Asian Paints, Vivo. Not only this, around 10% of the students we could place overseas. And the destination where we could place our students, they were Dubai, Tanzania, Sharjah, and Qatar. If I talk about the highest salaries, it was around 21.5 lakhs, and almost package is not for a single student. Almost something around 13% of the batch they got a package exceeding 20 lakh rupees. The median salary remained around 10.15 lakhs, right? This happens, reason being that, yes, the moment we talk about our training hours, we train our students for 12, 13 hours a day, all 6 days. We start our classes starting from morning 9 o'clock and goes till 9:30 in the night. Sometime it might extend to 11:30, 2 o'clock in the night. And the best part is our faculties, professors. Now, you have seen the quality of faculties. You must have attended a couple of webinars where most of faculties, they have come across and spoken to you. Right now, 2 former Vice Chancellor, Dr. Kamal, whom you are talking to, was again a Vice Chancellor with Ansal University, and Dr. Rajesh Kothari, the former Vice Chancellor at ICFA University. Both they are training the students at Takshila Business School. Apart from this, 3 working CEOs right? CEOs. They train our students at Takshila Business School. Now, if I talk about the batch profile, we have already started one batch in 2021. And if I talk about the batch profile, although this is available on the website, we have students for almost 15, 16 states in the first batch, right? Something around 26% students, they have a score, CAT score of more than 90 percentile. Students from IITs, NITs, BITS are studying in this batch. Now, next is maybe due to the lower economies, the buying power of the parents has gone down. So we have arranged 100% loans to the student. I mean, like the college fees is around 8,50,000. That is the academic fees plus hostel. The total fees comes to be 10,60,000. And our students, they can get complete full loan of 10,60,000 without a security. No security is required for that. Then in case you have any questions, you can put in the chat box. Or in case you want to apply, we'll just be giving a link, or you can go to the website, that is takshila.in, and apply online. We have applications open till the end of this month, till 31st of August. The next batch will be starting next month. So hope to see you in this batch. Fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Kamal.
Thank you very much, Professor Kishore and Professor Rajat. And on this note, me and my co-host, Dr. Sachin, we are signing off from this mini MBA in Excel as organized by Takshila Business School. Thank you very much.